How do you do? Zupple here, and you can call me Jake because my name is Jake. And what I really want to talk about today is motivation. Motivation is what gets you out of bed. It's what gets you to do the dishes. It's what gets you to mainly just it just gets you to do anything you want to do. And what I really have been lacking lately is motivation. Sorry, first squeaky chair. Motivation is what drives you. And I've been lacking motivation. I was lacking motivation in my relationship. I was lacking motivation in just about anything. And you know, what I haven't spoken my mind about anything to anybody, and I highly regret that. And when I mean lacking motivation in my relationship, I mean lacking motivation to talk about what's really been bothering me, what really has been eating at me and getting me to lose focus and kind of sending me into a little depression, kind of what Hutch was talking about. But I'm not here to talk about Hutch. I'm not here to talk about my relationship. I'm here to talk about motivation. And motivation, motivation is basically your own will. Nobody gives it to you. You choose to have motivation. Whether you watch something that gives you motivation, whether you watch somebody on the streets struggling, somebody that's struggling to meet ends meet and make ends meet and all of that you choose to put yourself in that position. And when you choose to put yourself in a famine where you're not getting enough care for yourself, you're not doing what you need to do to survive, you are suffering from a lack of motivation to do so. And motivation is key for a lot of things. Motivation, it it helps you with what you do from here on for the rest of your life. If you choose to live on the streets, if you choose to do bad things, if you choose to murder somebody, you know, all of that is either negative motivation, that's definitely negative motivation, but positive motivation is doing something that will benefit you, something that will make you happy. And sometimes, a lot of times, it's good to think for yourself. Thinking for yourself means you're willing to make yourself happy. You're willing to benefit your health. And when you make yourself happy, you're not stressed. Although, there's some stress to actually getting yourself to do the things that have to make you happy. Whether it's letting somebody go, whether it's, all of that. And when you have to do that, it's hard. You know, sometimes I struggle to tell people how I really feel, and when that happens, you build all of that anger and you build all of that stress, and you know, oh my God, I voice crack a lot, so you're gonna have to get used to that. But you're gonna have you have to you in order for you to speak your mind, you have to find something in you that motivates you to actually do it. And motivation, I'm going to be saying motivation a lot because this is the key topic. Motivation is really important. Without it, you can, slip into a slump where you're not willing to do anything, you're not willing to better yourself, you're not willing to jump into the shower and make yourself clean and presentable. And when you lack those necessities, you tend to push people away from you. You tend to not really care about what's going on around you, not really take in what your situation is and how bad it is. And a lot of that can also happen within jobs, within your school work, your basketball, your sports, just about anything you do. And when you lack that, it's not good. Believe me, I know, it's not good. You when you step onto the court, if you're playing basketball, when you step onto the court, it's natural to get butterflies. When you get butterflies, that means you want to be there. You're nervous. You're hopefully you're thinking correct. Hopefully you're thinking in the right, frame of mind. But if you don't have butterflies and you're there, it's either one, you're an extremely hardened ass veteran, or you just don't care. And you don't you're not motivated to actually do your best when you're in that position. And that's not good. That's really not good. And you shouldn't even be there if you're not motivated. If you're not motivated to do something, you're wasting your time and you're wasting somebody else's time that's trying to get you to do something that you don't want to do. Saying like coaches, they're trying to make you better as a person and as a basketball player, as a football player, soccer player, whatever you play. And when you don't want to do that specific sport that they're trying to train you in, you're wasting their time and you're wasting your time because you could be doing something else that makes you happy. Now, there's two kinds of happiness. There is happiness where you are healthy, you're doing something that you want to do, but is also good for you. And there's false happiness where you're doing drugs, something that you think makes you happy, but in reality, it gets you more depressed. As in, a stimulant for, as in like alcohol. You think that makes you happy. You think that takes all the pain away from you, but in reality, it doesn't. It's still there when you wake up in the morning from your hangover. And when you've been partying all night, you tend to realize that you've done some things that you will regret. And you've done those things because you have been irresponsible and you haven't been motivated to, not drink, not give in to peer pressure. And I'm sorry if I'm hitting my mic, but that is false happiness. Drugs, alcohol, it does not make you happy. It gives you a rush, it gives you what you think you need at that moment, but it's not good for you. It's not healthy. And I'm probably going to make other commentaries about motivation, and because that's going to be a big part of my life. And I just happen to just get motivation to talk about this with all of you guys. And if people see this, I hope you take in what I said. I hope you really understand if you're in that position or you're unmotivated, you don't want to do something, you don't want to talk to anybody because you just want to sit there and completely shut yourself away from everybody else in the world. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's good to have quiet times. It's good to have times to yourself because you need that. You need times to assess what you're gonna do tomorrow, what you're gonna do next week. You have to set yourself a schedule on what you want to do. And if you stick by that schedule, that's really good for you. If you work better without a schedule, hey, that's good too. But as long as you're doing the things that you need to do to get past all of those addictions and bad habits that really hinder you from being able to do your best. And I'd like to thank all of you guys for listening to this. And if you want to leave any stories that you have had experiences with unmotivation, depression is really what affects motivation. And what Hutch had to deal with, I know I'm talking about Hutch now, I said I wouldn't, but it kind of ties into the whole motivation thing. What Hutch had to deal with was a lack of motivation and a lot of depression. Because when you have depression, you shut yourself away from everybody else. You don't really think clear. You don't do all those things that are necessary to make yourself happy. And he was motivated even out of depression, which is it's incredible. In depression, he was motivated to make himself better, to make himself believe that this isn't what he needs. Like, he needs a change of scenery. He needs to go back to his roots. He needs to go back to where it all started, his family. And it has to be hard on his family. I can only imagine how hard it was on his family to not have him there all the time, and to make. They probably thought that he was pushing them away. But I'm not in Hutch's place. I can't tell what he was thinking at that time, what his family was thinking. I'm not gonna give my opinion because my opinion doesn't matter in his life. So that's what I really wanted to talk about, was motivation, and it ties into depression and what Hutch is going through. And thank you guys for listening, and this has been Zupple. Peace.